Welcome to episode 1 of the Traveling Annotated books. I'm doing this with a really small group from my book club, and there are 5 of us, so we will be reading 5 books through this series. And we each picked a book to read and annotate. So this is the book that I picked. It's called In an Instant by Suzanne Redfearn. And I am like 2 chapters in, so I'm not very far. I don't really annotate books, and it's a little nerve-wracking that other people are going to see my annotations, but I'm still excited because I want to know my book club's thoughts and opinions on this, and it's just a small group of people, so I think it'll work out just fine. So I figured I would document my experience annotating and just reading this book in general. I ended up receiving this as a gift, and I was told that it's really good, and so I have been eager to read it, and I thought that this would be a good experience to have other people read it because it's not very highly rated, or there's not a lot of reviews on this book. Let me read you the synopsis. It says, life is over in an instant for 16-year-old Finn Miller when a devastating car accident tumbles her and 10 others over the side of a mountain. Suspended between worlds, she watches helplessly as those she loves struggle to survive. And already just a couple chapters into the book, you learn about her best friend Mo. Finn has 2 older sisters, mom, dad, and a brother. And then she's got an aunt that she's pretty close with. They spend a lot of time together, it seems like. So far, I'm enjoying it. Let me go over what I'm going to use to help annotate this book. So I have little tabs. These are specifically from Shein, but you can get them anywhere. But I thought that the colors kind of matched the front of the book. I'm only going to be using like 3 different colors. That way, there's more options for people to use. And then I have my 15.88 Stabilo fine liners. And I'm going to just be using this blue one, and then the other colors probably for different books. I have no idea what the other people in this group picked, so it's all going to be a fun surprise for me, and that's why I wanted to do these episodes. So this being episode 1, we're going to read this book together, and I'll tell you my thoughts at the end. Hey friends, I'm just doing a check-in for In an Instant by Suzanne Redfearn. I'm about halfway through the book right now. I am annotating like mad. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a second. I don't want to say I'm enjoying this story because it is a very hard subject matter to read about, but I am liking the story. Does that make sense? Like it's hard to read, but I'm still invested. Does that make sense? All right, so this book is about this girl, and we are following her. Her name is Finn, and her family, extended family, and some friends get into a car accident on their way to dinner. There's deer in the road, and Dad swerves to miss the deer and ends up driving them over a cliff. So terrifying. Finn ends up passing away, and she becomes a ghost where she's able to observe everybody. It's described as she's not really like floating in space. She just can kind of choose who to watch because they have that connection with her. So she's kind of observing, well, the aftermath of this crash because it's literally snowing outside. They're all freezing. They're in this wreck. The camper's on its side. Her dad is really struggling. He has a broken leg. He's unconscious at this point. And so she's watching her dad struggle and how they're going to get out of this situation, how they're going to find help. So it's a really intense book. I am liking that it's not like multiple points of view. It's just Finn, and she can kind of glean what her individual family members are feeling during this time. I really like that the author chose to do it that way, where you're not bouncing around between each point of view, because some of these characters, I do not want to be in their heads, man. I do not want to be in their heads. They're pissing me off. I don't want to spoil too much of the book, but it is really hard to read. There are a lot of triggers. There's death. I'm intrigued with where the story is going. So about halfway through, I have been annotating, and let me just like tell you a little bit about how I annotate. I have no rhyme or reason, basically. So I have just been going through, and whenever anything like stands out to me, I just kind of write my immediate thought, because I'm sending this to somebody else and I want them to like see if they agree with me, or kind of know how I reacted to that immediate thing. For instance, let me share something with you. Okay, so this is in the first chapter, so I don't feel like it's very spoily, but it's about Aunt Karen, Finn's Aunt Karen. She's actually her mom's best friend. But it says, she loves to stir up trouble, a mischievous little imp full of devilishness, which makes her a ton of fun, except at moments like this when the fun is directed at you. And I just wrote, sounds so toxic, no wonder she is named Karen. Just things like that. So I hope the persons, because this is going to go through 4 other people before it comes back to me, kind of get a sense of how I felt when I was reading this book and just kind of enjoy it. Now, I do underline and write my little comments quite a bit, and then I tab the more important things. I don't tab every section that I underline, but I'm really enjoying this process. I think that this is helping me think more about the story overall too, because since I do listen to a lot of audiobooks, I think that this is making me actually sit down and think about what I'm reading versus just kind of listening and maybe be distracted by other things. So anyway, I will check back in once I have finished the book. So I ended up finishing In an Instant by Suzanne Redfearn. I ended up giving this book a 3.5 stars, and I did have a lot of fun annotating this. I'm glad I decided to try this. I thought that it really helped me pay more attention to what was going on in the book. I don't think it really affected my overall enjoyment of the book, and that's kind of why I've been hesitant to annotate books that I have, because I obviously can't donate this book now. Thankfully, I liked it. It was okay. I don't want to annotate every book that I have. I just want to annotate books that I think are going to be really, really good. So for this book, I think that there was some problems. I thought all of the adults in this book were pretty problematic, except for maybe Finn's dad. He was the only one that seemed to like be pretty level-headed and care about his children, and he was injured. Like, he was pretty MIA for when they were stuck in danger, when they were, stuck in their situation. He was injured and was passed out for most of it. And so that really let the other adults do their thing. Now listen, I liked Finn's mom, but she's not necessarily a good person. Her interaction with her husband and her best friend and her best friend's husband, and then even her child, like her youngest child, I think what she did was very brave to get them out of danger and to save them. But I don't think she's necessarily a good person. I think because Finn dies so early on in the book, we don't really get a chance to know what her personality was like. And so that made it really hard for me to care about her, basically. She's watching her family suffer and grieve her, and she does like think things like, remember me when you look at the ocean, remember me when we're having fun. But I'm still finding out new things about her towards the end of the book, and I feel like maybe if we had had more time with her in the beginning of the book and learned a little bit more about her, I would care a little bit more about her character. So 3.5 overall. I did like Finn's best friend Mo and her sister Chloe. I think they were probably my favorite characters, probably because I related the most to them. But all the other characters were pretty toxic or just oblivious to what was going on, or just super insensitive. So this is the first book that I'm rating out of 5. I don't know what my next book is going to be. It's literally being sent to me from somebody else. They read it and already annotated it, and so I get to read and annotate it myself, and I'm excited. So if you guys want to continue this journey with me, please follow along, hit that subscribe button, and yeah, comment down below if you've read In an Instant and what you thought of it. It is available on Kindle Unlimited, and maybe you should read it and form your own opinions. I didn't think it was a terrible book. I just thought that there was lack of character development. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you soon in a new video. Happy reading. This is a really long explanation. Nope, stay out. I'm locking you out. Nope. Get, nope, turn around. Go on, get. Thank you. Let you in a minute. Alright, I don't remember what I was saying. So I really like that creative step. I really like that creative liberty. Hey, so I ended up finishing. Do you want to laugh or are you going to be good? I'm glad that I decided to try this traveling annotating book group. I don't know what we're calling it. Traveling annotated books, and I don't think it really affected my overall enjoyment of the book. Dude,